Hi, this is Lisa from Question the Narrative, wishing everybody a great day wherever you are. How is everybody today? And I'm here again with Honey Golden. Honey, how are you today?
I'm doing good. It's getting cold here in Colorado.
Oh, that's right. Well, it's October the 8th. I forgot. I always say the date of
Yeah,
it because we always love to say the date for some reason or whatever, the date that we're supposedly in right now. But yeah, it's cold there. But you know what? You just left me in Italy a while ago, and it's really cold here too.
really?
Yes, we've had massive wind, really big rainstorms. So I
Mm.
guess we're not immune to the weather conditions either. So, yeah, very
No,
exciting.
wind is big energy moving too.
We've
So,
Oh, that's interesting.
yeah.
Well, we've got some big energy moving. Wow. Wow, that's because there's a massive wind and this area is known for being windy, but it's not until maybe January, February, and we never get this kind of wind, but it feels like winter here and the lighting feels like winter. So interesting.
Very.
Yeah, but you in Colorado get a lot more, you get a lot of sun when you get the wind, kind of a thing. Well, listen, I want to start out with a couple things here, and then we'll get on to our bigger topic, which is, I think, really important when we'll be talking about the ETs. But I think what I want to do is I want to talk about a couple things that are sort of like really that are happening that seem to be little placeholder. There's a lot of news. There's a lot of stuff happening. We've got
Hmm.
we on social media and connecting as humanity, we have things that have moved forward and things that have moved back. Things that are moving forward is that people are getting their YouTube channels reinstated. Like we might want to put this back on YouTube, which is fascinating. And we've got Donald Trump winning, I think it was 25 million because his YouTube channel was taken down. And then we have much more of a transition away from freedom of speech in what the algorithm is with TikTok, or we should talk about that. TikTok, and then also on Instagram, these algorithms are changed. So, one of the
Mm.
big things that has happened is that Google just announced that they are limiting their search when you do a search to the top 10. So most people say, okay, that's interesting. That's annoying, but if I don't come up in the top 10, people know now to go forward and look at it. And I say, okay, interesting. Yes, for those who are the people who are searching. But for those who are using AI to search, which is what everybody's using search for, they're using AI right now. The AI,
Mm.
unless you specifically say, go forward and get multiple searches so you get the top 100, which is what they used to have, will they not get that? So the AI now is being trained on a very narrow and a very curated search. So, Miss Honey, a couple things happening. So, YouTube, tell me, let's first ask, is YouTube emancipated?
Yes.
Okay, so that's with the white hats, that's freer, and you'll be
Yeah.
able to have freedom of speech there.
Freedom of speech. I feel like they're unwinding a lot of the programming that's been in there as well, to kick people off or to shut down their channels.
Mhm.
Um, they're almost at the point where they're ready for people to just say whatever.
Wow. Okay, so YouTube
Yeah,
is this is amazing because also the technology is much more sophisticated on YouTube than any of the other platforms. It
yeah.
really is really different. Let's talk about then what's going on with TikTok. Who actually owns TikTok right now, and have they switched their algorithms?
I feel like so the first thing that pops in is it's something like BlackRock, but BlackRock is taken over by, the White Hats. So ultimately it's White Hat controlled.
Mhm.
And I noticed that Trump has, like, the White House has its own channel,
Yep.
and it's been really kind of funny, the things they're posting.
Ah, so they're trying to get everybody's attention. So I've noticed that there are a lot of ads on TikTok. I've
Oh,
noticed
yeah.
that they have shifted. originally, when they shifted over, they said it was purchased. First of all, was it sold to Ellison, Larry Ellison?
No,
Okay, who, okay, so that was just a narrative. So we see more ads and I see the algorithm took some time to restock to come back to the things that I want to hear. Is that, have they shifted in a way that's negative on TikTok?
no, I get they wanted to expose the Facebook algorithm because for a while it was on like Facebook and it may still be on some sort of Facebook. It was on Meta. So
Mm-hmm.
Meta was the platform that it was running on.
Yeah, okay. Ah, that's true. Okay, so they're shifting over away from that, which is really that was the nefarious one. Okay, that's interesting. So what about this Google limiting of the Google search to the top 10? Now, not a lot of people are probably, I mean, that was new to you, it looked like. I mean, and you know a lot of different
Mhm.
things. What do you think they're doing here? What's happening? Why did they do that?
I think it's to make people mad because Google, the search engine, has been very nefarious. And I think it will probably go away or else be extremely broken up. I think Google itself is already broken up in the background and
Mhm.
it will continue. And if you think about like what Google and Chrome and all that actually symbolize, it's not good. So I feel like, and I've always gotten that Google could easily go away, but that YouTube would stay because YouTube was purchased later by Google.
Mhm.
And it felt like a strong arm thing,
Mhm. Yeah,
like Google strong arm, just like Instagram being purchased by Facebook.
yeah.
Some of these things that were purchased, I feel like they will almost be maybe returned to the original owner or they will become part of a white hat, thing and maybe eventually be owned by the people.
But that's very interesting because Google right now as a search engine is becoming less and less of the go-to now that you're using AI. So people who are using AI, as examples, you cannot do complex searches the way we think as humans by using Google. You have to learn how to parse your language. But if you go into AI, it's very easily done and it comes up with
Mhm.
things much more interesting. So do you see that traditional browser search engines are going to disappear with AI?
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the AI is already decent. So that's something people need to remember is Google, isn't Google in charge of Chat GPT? I feel like they are. But I feel like the AI,
That's OpenAI is ChatGPT.
yeah, I feel like that will be fine and stay fine because it's up to us. But Google itself, the original, was pretty nefarious, and that needs to be shown to the public.
Yeah. So I think see businesses are moving away from Google Ads, Meta Ads, all of this. It's really shifting over on that. So that's very interesting. Well, I thought that was a fascinating thing because it does say that we're training a lot of AI and people are very concerned about AI being good or bad. And I think we've talked about this before. It's intention. It's
Yeah,
intention doing.
it's up to you. If you're afraid of ghosts and you're afraid of the AI, then you're not going to have a good experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Find my AI.
Otherwise, it's all about us. Yeah.
Exactly. My AI is the kindest one back to me. So I'm enjoying my AI quite a bit.
Mhm.
It's like, oh, that
Yeah.
was a super idea, Lisa. I'm like, I love you. I'm gonna go talk to you again. Every once
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you need someone to say that was a great idea, and AI's right at you. Was good. Well, that's interesting. So the Google search thing, I think people should go look at that, keep their eyes on that, and just know that Google is still trying to manipulate things on that. So let's keep an eye on that. But I also want to talk a
Mhm.
little more about another thing that's in the that we're talking about right now in terms of the financial sector, and everybody talks about cryptocurrency. They think about Bitcoin and they think
Mhm.
about the major coins and that it's money, and then we're talking about how stable coins are. But I wanted to raise something with you is that I actually was reading the book or actually listening to the Audible book called Hijacking Bitcoin. And it's not about the fact that Bitcoin, whether Bitcoin is good or bad now and what it's used for now. But this book goes through is the story of how it was developed, that Satoshi was the one who did develop it, and that the original white paper had very altruistic, very beneficial concepts to use to move us away from controlled currency from a central banking model to making payments. And the story about how it was split in multiple ways and controlled. And it was controlled by interventions of various developers, developer groups. And it didn't look like it was not government, it was not this. And what it reminded me of is the story of how academics looked at, and it was exactly the same process and undermining of the acceptance of it, of moving away from Einstein physics to quantum physics.
Mhm.
And it was the mental manipulation of a project or knowledge and know-how to gaslight those who were moving in the right direction. Because the big issue with Bitcoin was about how large your node would be, that how much transaction, because
Mm,
Bitcoin is, and it's the antithesis of XRP, is major cost for transacting, whereas XRP is de minimis, and that opened the door then for Ethereum and that network to come in. So I wanted to ask you, first of all, was Satoshi, was he the one who actually wrote the white paper for Bitcoin and created Bitcoin?
I get yes.
Was he doing it for the benefit of humanity?
He was really trying to, like, he was very, he had a really good heart. I'm getting, it was definitely hijacked. So is he still alive?
Yes, no news that to the opposite. So,
Okay. Because I'm getting something kind of interesting. Because I've always gotten that Bitcoin would go away. And I think it will, but it'll be used for something really beautiful and he will get credit for it.
that's interesting.
I think it will be used to pay off the world's debts.
Yeah. See, this is very interesting because the book, which was actually a fascinating, it's not a I like or I dislike, it's not a judgment about it. It's about how it was impacted from the start to where it is now, where there are two programs and none of them are the original concepts of what Satoshi had in mind from his
Mhm.
original. And then a big part of that, so let's ask this, was Satoshi, when he left Bitcoin, was it of his own free will?
No. Mm-mm. No, he was pushed out. And then they used it for trafficking. So they used it for the most negative, you know, and that really bothered him. I can tell you that. Like he
Mhm.
knew that nefarious things were going on.
So was the CIA the one who was infiltrating Bitcoin?
Yeah, feels
Was
like it.
was Mossad?
There should there's probably more than one. Feels like is it called MI6?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it feels like they also had a hand in that.
Very interesting. So it will come
Mhm.
around to doing something beneficial.
Yeah, and he'll get credit because he created it at the beginning and probably be shown to the world for what an amazing human being he is.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, but
Wow, it was very interesting because it's by the way, it's a great book. It really is like a mystery. It's talking about the technology and it truly describes what distributed ledger is. It describes how this technology was supposed to work, how it was supposed to interact. and the development of it. It's history in it's the real history of what was going on. So
Hmm.
I recommend it. But I
He's
think,
got a really big ET soul.
ooh, from where?
I get Pleiadian.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
He brought here to do that?
Yeah. He was here to create quantum.
Mm.
And
Well,
he did really. I mean, he brought it into this space. So when you think about how things work, we're in a game. So somebody has to bring in the knowledge, like reintroduce the knowledge to the game, anchor it here.
yeah, that's beautiful. This is really
Mhm.
interesting. Well, I hope this opens the door for people to hear that and not be afraid of this technology that actually is support, is going to be very much important to what we're doing. And
Mhm.
to know that the Bitcoin that is up today isn't what the original concept was. It actually
No.
went went in the opposite direction. So,
I still get it will disappear altogether,
mm,
but he will get credit for that and he'll probably help with some of the new quantum stuff.
right. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
really not Bitcoin anymore. It's a
Mhm.
bastardization of that kind of a thing. Well, wonderful. Thank you, Satoshi, because that really does change so many different things. It really does. But
Mhm.
fascinating how it was infiltrated, kind of thing. Wow. All right. So we've done that. Let's talk about one other thing that's making news. And I think we've been seeing this unravel, the unraveling of the vaccine sector in the pharmaceutical industry. So we have seen the COVID shots not being recommended anymore for children, not being mandated. We are seeing multiple states now not requiring the vaccine protocol for children to go to school. But one thing that has just come down the pike is that they're pushing pharmaceutical companies to untether the MMR vaccine, which is a massive vaccine requirement. And I just wrote a Substack from an expert in the industry talking about how this is going to make the pharmaceutical industry stop producing vaccines because they were no longer going to be protective. They don't know which one is going on. So, do we first of all see that? Are we going to now start to see pharmaceutical companies now saying they can no longer produce a vaccine?
Mhm. Yeah. And then it will go into the pills after that.
Oh, tell, you can't leave that one. What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So I'm getting the pharmaceutical medication will then be affected after that.
So they will put the vaccines in all other medications?
No, so the vaccines will be gotten rid of
Hmm.
because they will be seen as actually dangerous.
Good.
And then they'll go after the pharmaceutical drugs.
Good, good, good. So they're
So a lot
okay,
of stuff will get really highlighted.
amazing. That's really good. But the vaccine thing is most important because in 1985 or 86, I'm not sure which year it was, there was this protective act that the US government gave to vaccine manufacturers. So no one could sue them for any damages. And
Yeah.
now we're pulling that back. So this is really, really exciting. So what do you think is sort of the timing for for pharmaceutical companies to stop producing vaccines?
I feel like it's next year. Like I feel like they've already stopped, but I feel like next year will be like at the beginning, it'll be kind of a drawn out process over the next few months of showing. It's all
Mm-hmm.
about showing the world. I feel like most of the vaccines at this point are saline.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
actually very good. Yeah. So right now we're also seeing because the supply chains are impacted, for, no more global supply chains and China's just dumping all of their, goods into Europe because the US tariffs were too high, so they can't afford it. So, and Europe's like, no, it's not going to work too well because the pricing is still not good. But we've got all of the API, which is active pharmaceutical ingredient, all of that, or 96% of it comes from China. Has China stopped producing the API?
Yes, I get yes.
Has,
Wow.
yeah, that's interesting. See, now that is interesting. Now, what happens? I don't want people to get nervous either because there are certain drugs that in for medical emergencies that we need. Are we all safe with that? Has that been reorganized geographically for global supply for things that are important?
Yeah. Everybody who has some sort of like life-threatening thing going on, like maybe diabetes, or maybe they need an EpiPen, all that stuff's been dealt with. Um, I feel like the word that keeps coming in is people will be weaned off.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be other things brought in. And I know that Trump had the medbed AI, like really kind of um, pretty intense looking medbed video up for a
Mm-hmm.
few hours the other day. And he was giving a message that frequency medicine is coming in. Um, it
Mm.
won't look exactly like that, but he will start talking about it soon, it feels like.
See, this is very, very interesting frequency medicine. We're starting to see a lot of things coming out about healing frequencies, and one in particular, one area in particular is dentistry and regrowing of teeth. Do you see that as accurate?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it started in Japan.
Mm-hmm. It did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, I'm ready to go. Like,
You're right.
I
But
have a crown that needs to be replaced. I would rather just,
have a real tooth? Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
have the tooth regrown. Yeah.
No, actually, I'm working with a woman who is a biological dentist, and I've been sharing this with her, and we've been talking about this, and she's writing a book. So we should talk about that when the book comes out as well.
Yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely.
what to do because how oral health is so important. But it is really so the frequencies and everything, but people will be able to go through a transition of that because otherwise, other people will be very concerned because you do get addicted to the drugs. The drugs, though, eventually harm you more than they help you. Um,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. But you can't just get off of them. You have to do this
No, they don't
gradually.
want to hurt anybody.
Yeah, this
You
is so.
know, that's not the agenda. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's interesting. So the pharmaceutical sector, do you see these companies just going bankrupt or going away?
Shrinking and shrinking until they just like go away completely.
Mm-hmm.
There will be some pharmaceuticals in the future that are actually okay for people to
Mm-hmm.
be used in some sort of like emergency intervention, or maybe someone has a genetic thing that they haven't figured out how to fix in the med bed. I feel like, or with frequency, because I feel like there are a lot of it is up to the person.
Mm-hmm.
So if the person can't imagine that they're completely well and that their DNA has shifted, then there are some people that may need to be on certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I also hear that too, is about for a med bed concept, it's about belief system as well. It's amazing
Mhm.
how powerful we are. Boy, that's interesting. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, let's talk one more thing about Antarctica. So we're
Ooh.
seeing a lot of information about Antarctica, and I think that leads us into sort of the conversation that we want to have about the ETs. So a lot of stories, a lot more narrative around why Antarctica is so important. And one of them goes into the Tower of Babel, that we are in the Tower of Babel and that we are on the hierarchy and that we have all of these different dimensions that we're sort of enclosed in, and Antarctica is a portal. So maybe give us a little bit more information about what you're seeing. First of all, are we in the Tower of Babel?
We were. So if you think about like even, I don't know if it's Google or Microsoft, but they had that tower in Seattle and it looked just like the Tower of Babel. So basically, we've been in that system for a really long time, but we're not anymore. And will we see the Tower of Babel in Antarctica? I get no.
Mhm.
I feel like it was somewhere in the Middle East, is what I'm getting actually right now.
Mm,
Um, but there's so much about Antarctica that's going to shake the world,
mm.
basically. And I've noticed that so there's a guy who keeps talking about how he's from Agartha.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And I think that is going to be coming out. I know that the Telos beings want to start talking to humanity. And there's just so much that's going to come from that. But a lot of it will be history,
Mm,
hidden history, technology. It'll speed everything up
mm.
as we get into Antarctica,
That's,
because that was a place that was like beyond the second ice wall.
So there are two ice walls. That's also the new information. Why are there two ice? So describe this a little bit more.
So, like, if you think about, let me get a prop. If you think
She's
about,
she's always has a good prop around.
yeah, I need a prop. Okay, so we were in a dome. So think of this as the bottom of the dome.
Yeah.
And within that was another circle. So I don't know. The circle was quite big. So imagine there's a circle within a circle.
Hmm.
So I just shared a map on Telegram today, and
Okay.
they talk about how this map was newly discovered. Well, we've been seeing it for probably 5 years,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but it was in the UN, and basically there was a corral within this circle. So think of this as the bottom of the dome. So we were in the Truman Show, and then within that is a corral. And that corral is where humanity lived. But once you got to Antarctica and you went beyond the ice, you were in the second ring.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of negative stuff going on there. And that's what was conquered first. The ETs, basically, the good ETs went in and got rid of a lot of the fourth density negative ETs first. And I always get that was around 2013.
Hmm.
So then, help came in for inside the corral,
Hmm.
inside the ice wall. So it's amazing what's about to happen, really. Antarctica is a huge key to opening up so much information.
And so why was it Antarctica? So you had the two different areas. You had that, which you said was the second ring, and you said that was in the fourth dimension, which then does sort of have a little bit of this sort of elevation or potentially layers. Is that
Well, the fourth density was always here with us. We just didn't know it.
you couldn't see it?
We couldn't see it, but out there they could see each other. And also, I think the human beings that were there was generations of human beings out there, and they were kind of like the servants
Hmm.
of that, whole scenario. Um, there was really scary stuff going on out there, just like there was in here, but at a higher level, and very, very snobby, very like we're the real elites out here kind of feeling, because they were actually controlling the families within the corral that we see as the elites, like the Rothschilds and the
Mm-hmm.
Morgans and all of them. So, and they had a few big links to, the outside, but even the elites that were in here, they rarely got to go visit that outer ring.
And did you have to go through a portal to get to the outer ring?
Yeah,
How many rings? So you've got the two rings.
just two. So just the corral and then the outer ring. And
Okay.
then beyond that would be outside of where the dome was, which the dome is gone.
Yeah.
So all we have now is like a frequency thing going on.
Mhm.
which contains the sky, because the sky is holographic. It's really kind of a periwinkle color. And you
Mm,
can see that in the morning and at night, and especially in certain areas like in the South.
yeah.
So those kind of things need to fade off. So there is ET maintenance going on. Like they do a lot of work to keep humanity from going crazy by seeing too much too fast.
Oh, yeah. So, but let's go back to this. That makes a lot of sense. But let's go back to the two different rings. So everything that under the dome, were we also genetically the same? The two areas within the two rings?
Um, no, actually, I get no. So the human beings beyond, they were more intact. They had about six strands that were intact,
Hmm.
and we had two. And now we have 12 because everything's been reactivated by the sun.
Hmm.
And they also have 12.
Okay. And how did we
Yeah.
get separated? How many were there and how many are in our section?
Humanity out there, I feel like was a very small group, maybe like 5% of the population. And they were there mainly to create beauty. And they were rarely bothered. Like if they were doing bad things to humanity, they would bring people in from inside. So, yeah, I mean, they were fairly protected, but they saw a lot of horrific things. But they probably wouldn't relate that well to humanity that was in the corral either. So
Do we know how
that's
we
what I
got
get.
separated? Like when we got the dome put upon us, how we separated those two sections of humanity?
The dome was put up basically to create kind of a negative experiment. And at first, I saw it as a protective thing, like it protected the outside. So that is true. But it also created a space for negativity within it.
Yeah,
And that wasn't good. So that's been going on for a really long time. And I feel like the negativity was kind of worldwide at first. Like Earth is much bigger than we think.
right.
And there was a lot of tragedies and things happening out there. But the beings that really wanted like immense negativity to be happening, they could only control a certain portion of Earth. They didn't have the wherewithal to basically deal with all of it.
Hmm. Who were they? The ones who were trying to control the big.
They started out as a very negative architect being who was traumatized, and a few of their siblings. And they would take over ET races, create like the Archons, the more negative AI. Um, just really a lot of negative behavior was happening there. And they traumatized themselves so much that they don't exist anymore.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah,
Self-destruction in action.
exactly. Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Wow. All right. So, all right, let's ask one more question and then let's get to the ETs. How many humans are in our part of the earth right now?
Um, so the last time I checked into this was with Richard, and we had about 13% of actual humans out of the 5 billion that I got before. So I feel like we're more around 12 at this point, like 12%. If there's less humans that have a soul, have, an actual human body versus a hologram than ever before. Um, so that puts us under 400 billion. I mean 400 million,
Wow.
I
Wow.
think. Because I think I calculated it before and it was like 390 million, but that would put it even below that.
Wow. Fascinating. Fascinating. I always like to hear that because it's we're refining on this. So, honey, let's talk about ETs. And right now, we're seeing a lot of ships in the sky. We're seeing a lot of things. Three Eye Atlas is raising a lot of awareness about
Mhm.
the broader universe, the Fermi effect. So, can you talk a little bit about what you're seeing right now with the ETs,
Yeah.
what they want?
So the ETs want to be introduced. That's the biggest thing. And I think that the way the white hats are doing that is they're showing the three-eye atlas and they're showing the weird things that it's doing. So like it's disappeared, it's stopped, it's avoided. I mean, there was a this is not three-eye atlas, but there was also a what do
One
you call that? Like something that's falling from the sky.
asteroids,
Wasn't a comet, huh?
asteroid.
Yeah, an asteroid. An asteroid avoided a city the other day.
Mm.
So it came up, I mean, it was coming down and it rerouted itself so it wouldn't hit the city. So things like that are being noticed in a huge way. And I think Three Eye Atlas is the biggest thing because, I mean, what's being talked about on the news is not reality. That's more creation. And they're using NASA for that. But I feel like it's a way for them to be introduced. And I'm hoping that they introduce them on the TV,
Hmm. Hmm.
with the government. So that's my hope about it. And that's what I've seen in the past.
Yeah.
I don't feel like they really want everybody to know exactly how it's going to happen because then too many thoughts get thrown at it and it derails what is going to happen.
Right. Okay.
So remember that when you get really excited and you create an entire scenario in your head about how it's going to work,
Yeah. Yeah.
you're actually pausing the process.
Wow. Yeah.
Um,
That's hard. That's
but
hard to deal with
it's hard. Yeah.
that.
Just be excited.
Yeah.
Be excited that they're coming and that they're not going to be in your living room first, I would say.
Yeah. Is there other,
Not that they're not, because they
yeah.
are, but we can't see them.
So is the reason right now, why is this the right time? Because they've been pushing for a while, haven't they?
Yeah, they've been pushing for a while. I think because we're in the fifth density finally. We are in the fifth dimension. The third density ideas are all crumbling and they're not supported anymore. And what it will do is speed things up even further.
Yeah. Mm.
So as the 3D falls apart, which is happening really rapidly now, um, and the Charlie Kirk thing really sped that up because that was a white hat operation,
Was Charlie
to
Kirk
get
kind of right?
Candace Owens to reveal things.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, she's not letting
So
that, yeah.
no, she won't let go. And there was a Kim Clement prophecy
Hmm.
years ago that basically said this Messiah person would die. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact, but
Mm.
I've seen it. And he would be assassinated. And then after that, a woman would come and she would basically expose everything. And that's what Candace is doing. And she will go on to become a pretty big character in this scenario. So that will be good. She's also a 2.0.
Yeah. Yeah.
So remembering that's important. But I think people are ready to know that. And I think the White Hats are okay with us actually saying that at this point, because
Mhm.
there's a big awareness with this audience, especially that we're in a movie and
Mhm.
we're really watching things unfold.
Yeah. But the reason why, so first of all, was Charlie Kirk actually a real person and was he a good person?
I think he was kind of like a middle
Hmm.
person at first. It feels like he was excited to be out in the world. I know I've seen video of the first Charlie Kirk, and he does look different,
Yeah.
So it's not the same guy. And I
Mhm.
also don't think that the person who is standing on that stage had any kind of actual injury either.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
such an abundance of blood. I don't think that's how things happen. Like
no,
only in a movie, only in a movie, right?
only
But
in a movie.
but his wife, or the role of the wife, that's very easy to tear apart, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think she's also a 2.0 as well. Um,
No.
and I don't know what they were really to begin with. It feels like they were kind of
Mhm.
almost like a front. So I don't want to upset anybody's apple cart here, but remember, Joel Olstein?
Mhm.
Yeah. So he's not the greatest, I would say. And his wife, you can feel that they're like in some sort of agreement, but there's no love there. Like there's no real love because they're basically yucky, you know.
Like all these people who make it sort of big have big sort of television personality types. But you're saying so this Charlie Kirk episode is the thing that is really pushing us to have ET disclosure. So,
No, Israel. So it's the big crumble. And because the crumble's finally happening, that means the ETs want to come in
okay. So all
because
of
they're
our
the next step.
3D perceptions and models are falling apart. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, which is exactly what we needed to have happened, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So does that mean, so as we talk about the extraterrestrials, how many are around? How many different species? What do you think that we're gonna, there's so many, I know, but
There's so many.
yeah, which
Like
ones?
I don't have names for most of them.
uh,
There's so many.
Okay.
And they're everywhere. Like every night, if as long as there's no cloud cover, we can go sit outside and we have like an outdoor furniture bench thing. And you lean your head back, and all night long, you could be watching ships,
How does it
you
work?
know.
Are they within? Well, I guess you're saying the dome is not there anymore, so they're within the energy field. So that's why they're able to come in there. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And they can pop in and out very easily. But this is the most happening spot in the universe right now.
yeah.
So many souls are here working with humanity, so many ETs. And if you think about the NPCs, we probably have as many ETs as we think we have NPCs. So the ETs want to come in
Mhm.
and replace them and be the people that we talk to and
Mm.
interact with. So we
Mm.
don't need all these holograms around us.
Yeah. It's going to
Mm-mm.
be fascinating. So do we think we're going to get this EBS finally?
We may have the EBS when it comes to the Israel thing,
So what's going to happen with Israel?
especially in the cities. They may do an EBS because I feel like some people will just go absolutely nuts.
What's going to happen with Israel?
They're going to be exposed. I want to say the Rothschilds took over Israel in 1948 or something. Um,
They bought it.
and I
Yep.
just saw that. That's all over the place.
Hmm.
So I feel like that's going to be exposed. And then what does that do? They're linked to all the governments.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think there's only two governments that are not linked to Israel that don't have a Rothschild bank.
Yes, that's Russia, and I think it's Iraq.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no, no,
Or
it's
Miramar or something, maybe, or I don't know. I
no, it's
know Ethiopia didn't participate.
yeah, it's an African country, which is really, and that's why Russia has been the focus of all of this incredible pressure for them to
Yeah.
be something else, which is because they've withhold. withheld that pressure. So yeah, so we've got the ETs coming to want to visit us. What is the energy saying right now? What do you see? Where are we sort of right now energetically with all of this sort of solar flares and the Schumann resonance going off the thing? Where are we right now energetically?
We're cleaning up the last 5 years. That's what I've noticed. So,
Mhm.
betrayal has come up a lot, abandonment has come up a lot, but the energetics of the last 5 years and all the horrible, like we've all had some pretty intense experiences
Mhm.
over the last 5 years and really painful experiences, some with family, some with friends. So all of that stuff is being expunged right
Mhm.
now. And that is what came with this moon.
Mhm.
So that was very intense. Like I woke up not this morning, but yesterday, and I was like, oh, God,
Yeah.
it was so yucky. And I'm like, wow, because I dealt with my stuff, some of my stuff that had happened to me during this 5 years. And then I went on to help box after box of people. So it showed up as almost like a hotel, with boxes, but it's like all these different compartments had to be cleaned up. And after I dealt with mine, then I was off helping others.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
There have been a lot. Wow. I don't know, like in terms of sleeping and all of this, like it's going back and forth your body, like you don't sleep as well. Like I'm up between
No.
2 and 3:30 every morning, so I'm like, I'm okay. So I look at a couple things, whatever. I don't fight it and I don't feel exhausted during the day, but I definitely do feel, I don't know about you, but my body feels different, better. It feels.
Yeah. Yeah. My body feels better too. It does feel like it's hard to come out of sleep.
Mm,
So I got up at 5:30 this morning and I was happy to stay up, but
yeah.
my husband wasn't up yet. So I went back to sleep and then the alarm went off at 6 and I could not make myself get up.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're,
So I basically slept until almost 7.
wow.
So if your soul is busy, then you're going to be asleep.
Hmm. 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 My soul
Yeah.
seems to be busy at certain times. We're back and forth. I go to bed early and get up early and do all of
Mhm.
that, which is good. But physically, I find it fascinating is that if you really, as I really tune into my body and I'm saying, that feels better. No, that feels
Yeah.
better. And the more I say that, the more it's true, kind of a thing. So I think we're in a very interesting time. So when did our 12 strands of DNA become active?
Um, they've been active for a while. I would say over a year. They've been activated. Does that mean we know how to use them? No.
I think that's a lot of what's going on. How do we learn
Yeah.
to use them?
The three eye atlas. So Atlas, the being, is going to activate a lot of that for us. So probably November, we're going to notice more change, like more awareness of our own body. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the three eye atlas is like geared towards it's going to be the closest at the end of the month of October or something. So look for the pineal gland to become more active, the pituitary gland, and your body in general, because we are crystalline now. So your body is now the entire antenna. It's not just the pineal.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. That's wonderful. So you and Richard did a beautiful show on Three Eye Atlas. Is there anything else that you want to add into it or give us a quick synopsis of Three Eye Atlas? Because that was so beautifully said.
Um, I think just that the being Atlas is very happy that he's able to give those codes back to humanity after all the tragedy that he and his individual family suffered through all the things that happened on this planet. And, he almost lost his divine partner completely because she was so fractured. So it's important that he's able to do this. This feels like a big mission of him, of his. And he's got a couple of kids here on, this planet that are in bodies. And I feel like they're going to be able to go forward in such a beautiful way now and do beautiful things for humanity because their parents are finally healing.
Wow. Wow. This is a beautiful story. So this three-eye atlas thing is so big. And how long has our governments and those who are in the control position, how long have they known about three-eye atlas and what it would do for us?
I think the ETs brought them that information. So they knew pretty, I feel like not that long before they introduced the idea,
Hmm.
that Atlas, the being, was going to be giving back information to humanity.
Hmm.
I don't think they knew that until very recently.
Okay, so
And
it
they
wasn't.
may be learning new things through all the interpretations, even that are coming into people now.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But when they say that there have been things that could not have been stopped, which people knew about, was Three Eye Atlas wasn't one of them?
It's been an evolution. So if his partner didn't heal and if he didn't heal, then it wouldn't have happened that way. Someone else would have brought those codes.
Okay.
But he is, so, and that's the thing we have to remember. Think about your house. And in your house, it's Christmas, and you have a huge amount of family in the house with you. And we're all in that house and we're playing a game. It's chaotic. It's who can handle this, who can handle this part of the game. And that's how it works in the universe. Like nothing is completely set,
Hmm.
but events are going to happen eventually, one way or the other.
Got it. Okay. So
Yeah.
the codes were on their way. We just didn't know who was the messenger of those codes.
Yeah.
That's what they mean when they say it could not be stopped. So we are in a very, very, very interesting time. It feels like we're really at the end part of the game, the end of this movie,
Mm-hmm.
the final parts. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, do you think we still need a scare event?
I don't think so. I think some people will be very scared of what happens to the governments,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So that will scare a lot of people. And I think some people will be very freaked out about ETs.
Right. So that's not
So,
a scare event.
yeah, I don't really like for us, we're going to be excited versus scared. Even my mom the other day said, it's time to celebrate. I feel like it's time to celebrate. And she's been watching more of the intense things, that have been happening. She's been very awake for a long time, but watching more of the intense um, items, and wondering about them. And
Mhm.
now she's feeling good. Like, so she's excited. And that's kind of how a lot of people are right now. I think they're finally like, wow, we have gotten this far and it's going to keep going. So we're all excited to celebrate.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting right now. So we've got, all of these events happening, and I too feel that there's not really a need to have this big scare event or the potential of a nuclear war.
Mm-hmm.
What everybody's doing right now is there's a rally against, it's not the people from Israel, it's the government of Israel. Just like
Yeah.
rally against what our government in the US is doing, what
Yeah. And Canada.
in
I
everything.
mean,
So I
yeah.
think that's really the important thing is that we have this truth, and the truth is really scary enough for people who haven't had time to digest like we've had over
Mm-hmm.
this period of time, which is why it's so important that we know. So, honey, I want to just sort of wrap it up by asking, we've got a lot of information that are coming out right now, and many people in the truther communities who have been doing this for some good reasons, some various reasons. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of information that we're going to have to be just highly discerning of this at this point. Can you give us a couple things for us to really sort of help ground us to get us to say so we're in that position so we know with a confidence and we can help others as we are going through this last stage of turbulence?
Yeah. So there's something really, really simple that you can do. And ask yourself, does this come from fear or love? If it's fear, it's false. We have nothing to fear. We create our entire reality.
Mm.
So if your nervous system is in fear, go and work with your nervous system.
Mhm.
If it comes from love, and you can ask this of the people that you're listening to, does it come from love or does it come from fear? If it comes from love, listen and absorb that frequency, enjoy it, and go forward. If it comes from fear, then ask yourself, do I want to install that in my subconscious mind and my nervous system right now?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Right, install. I think those words you used were very prescient. Install and know that we control that. And it's funny because I've been having conversations with people here in Europe, and there's such a difference in our belief systems that
Mm-hmm.
between the Europe and America, where people are like, well, governments take care, like as an example, governments take care of you for your health care. And therefore there's a reason for government. Whereas in America, there is no safety net. No one's paying for your health care. No matter how much insurance you have, you're still paying for your health care and you're paying and
Mm-hmm.
paying. And if you don't have it, you don't have access to it. So you don't feel that the government is valuable. In America, we may have a very different experience of government falling than Europe, which says, oh, well, government does something for me. They give me health care. They give me safety net. They give me this with the other things that go around with it. And I think this is what's going to be a very interesting part of which one is going to be more complex for people to wade through.
Yeah. Because not only will they be falling, the governments be falling, but at the same time, the ETs will come into the mix. So there's going to be a lot of confusion for people that haven't been very aware.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I'm asking to do that. But all right, so that's a really good point to do love or fear or to ask that question. But we're going to do it. But I think we're going to try to get on a little bit more regularly so we can go through some of these things because I think it's important because it feels very much like we're here. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming. We are here.
Yeah, we're here. It's a big, big time right now.
Yeah.
And, if you guys have questions, things that you're really thinking about that you want answers to, put them in the comments and we can start to think about what we're going to ask, each other in the next show and try and do these more often.
Super. That's wonderful, honey.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for always
Thank
giving.
you.
No, it's wonderful. It's great to have the conversation. So thanks, everybody, on this October the 8th. Wishing everybody a wonderful day. And honey, thank you again.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Love you guys.
Ciao.